Namaste. In today's class, I'll be doing an alignment-based yoga class, and we'll be focusing on the seated asanas. So you'll need some props for this class. We'll need one strap and a block. I'll meet you on your mats. So we'll begin today's class by just coming to settle on your mats in a supine position. So we'll be resting on our backs. You can place the feet on either side of your mat so that the feet are mat distance apart. And then just gently encourage those knees to fall together, so almost creating a tent with your legs. And then just slowly recline vertebra by vertebra, coming to rest onto your mat. And we'll just start by connecting to our breath. So bring your hands to rest on your belly and gently close your eyes and just monitor your breathing and connect with your breath. Trying to draw that breath down into your belly, so deepening with each inhalation and each exhalation. So just connect to your breath and settle into your mats. Now on your next inhalation, let's just reach the arms up above our heads, interlacing the fingers and pressing the palms away from you. And then as you exhale, drop those hands down on either side of the legs. Take hold of the knees with the hands, and we're just going to work with some gentle hip rotations. So rolling out those legs in a circular motion, breathing through it. And now you can change direction. Just gently loosening up our hips. We're going to be working with some of the seated asanas that are great hip openers. So let's just get our hips warmed up and ready for our class. And now you can sweep the hands between the legs. Take hold of the balls of the feet for a gentle, happy baby. Just easing into it. You can rock from side to side. Soles of the feet are facing up. You're trying to draw the thighs down on either side of your body. Then come to a stationary position, drawing the coccyx down, keeping the spine completely level and supported by your mat. And again, just come back to your breathing. Now return the left foot to the mat and sweep that right leg up. We're just going to warm up our hamstrings a little bit. So gently encouraging that thigh just to ease towards your chest. Now you can take hold of the foot or the toes and just open up to the right hand side. And then return that leg to the center and plant the foot onto the mat, extending through the left leg, gently encouraging that thigh to ease towards the chest, warming up those hamstrings. And now you can take hold of the foot and gently open up to the side. If you need to keep a bend in your leg, that's absolutely fine. Just ease into it, taking it easy, taking it slow. And now let's return that foot to the mat. Cross the ankles, gently start to rock your body back and forth. And now we're going to rock our way up to a seated position. Coming onto all fours into tabletop position. So the wrists are stacked beneath the shoulders and the knees are stacked beneath the hips. And let's just work into cat-cow. When we work with our seated asanas, a lot of them involve forward extensions. So it's nice just to have a nice warm back. So let's inhale and arch our backs as we gaze ahead. And then exhale to round for cat. Inhale for cow. And exhale for cat. Inhale for cow. And exhale cat. And now come to sit in child's pose, extending those arms out in front of you. We're going to slowly ease our way up into puppy. So keeping the tailbone elevated, just drop your chest down. So melting that chest towards the mat, gently gazing ahead, pressing into the palms. Easing into our puppy pose, so really feeling that extension in the spine. And now let's slowly ease our way forward into Sphinx, so coming to rest on the forearms, just a gentle back bend, squeezing the glutes to take the pressure off the lower back, gently gazing ahead. Now inhale as you ease back into child's pose, and then slide your way forward into puppy, melting the chest towards the mat. And now slide your way forward into Sphinx. Lifting up the chest, squeezing those glutes, and gently gazing ahead. And now let's inhale and come back to rest in child's pose. Extending those arms out in front of you, widening the knees so that you can rest your torso between the thighs. And just gently gazing ahead. Now we're going to tuck our toes under as we come into our first downward dog of the day. So warming up, walking through it, walk your dog. And just gently bend and straighten one leg at a time as you find your position. And then slowly come to settle in your dog. So really lift up those sit bones. So start with coming onto the ball of the feet. So on your toes, really lifting up that sit bone. And then you can sink those heels down slowly, drawing the chest towards your thighs, pressing into the palms, the fingers are widespread, dropping the head. And just breathing through it, easing into your dog, feeling that stretch throughout the whole body. And now let's inhale and just come forward into high plank, warming up our abdominals, holding our plank, nice straight body, and then very slowly bend those elbows and lower down through chaturanga, and then lift up for upward facing dog. Remembering to squeeze those glutes in your upward dog. Activate the quads and the kneecaps. Now tuck those toes under, lift back up into downward facing dog. And let's slowly walk towards our hands, coming to the short edge of our mat, finding ourselves in our forward fold Uttanasana. So just drop down completely. Your feet are parallel, hip distance apart, and you can gently shift your weight to the front of your feet, and that'll allow your body just to sink down a little bit further. Allow the neck to be completely free in this pose, completely relaxed. Breathe through it. And now on your next inhalation, placing the hands onto the shins, we're going to come up for halfway lift, nice flat back, and then drop down for Uttanasana, and then inhale as you come up to standing in mountain pose, hands to heart center. Here we're going to do 2 sun salutations, just to warm up before our seated theme of the class. So come to standing in Tadasana, your big toes are touching, the outsides of the feet are parallel. Activate your quads, activate your knees, zip up your core, draw those shoulder blades in, nice broad chest, and bring the hands to heart center. Inhale as you raise the arms up into upward prayer. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Step back with the right. Stay in your low lunge. Let's just ease into it, warming up our hamstrings. So very slowly straighten that front leg. It's a variation of our pyramid pose. The best hamstring stretch. You're trying to maintain a nice flat back. So I have a tendency to round. I've got to work on my back. But if you come onto your fingertips, it'll help you to maintain that elongation in the spine. And then bending that front leg, drop your back leg, and then ease the body back for a half split. And just hold as well and feel that extension in the hamstring. Again, just trying to keep that elongation in the spine. So come up onto the fingertips if that works for you. Easing into it. And now we'll come forward, bending that front leg, maintaining the back knee on the mat. We're going to move into our crescent lunge. So sweeping those arms up and bringing them into upward prayer. Allowing those hips to descend a little bit further. Beautiful concave back. Broadening through the chest, drawing the shoulder blades in. And gently gazing ahead. Exhale, hands to mat. Tuck the toes under on your back leg and step back into downward facing dog. Easing into your dog, breathing into your dog. Inhale to roll forward into high plank. Exhale as you chaturanga down. And inhale for upward facing dog. Tuck the toes under and find yourself in downward dog. Sweeping that right leg up for three-legged dog, point your toe, feel that extension, open up your hips. Exhale, bend the knee, plant that foot between your hands, dropping the back knee down, untucking those toes, sweeping the arms up for crescent lunge. Again, allowing the hips to descend here, but always maintaining a perfect 90-degree angle on your front leg. So the knee and the ankle are perfectly stacked. You're gently gazing ahead. And you're opening up that heart center and broadening through the chest. And now exhale, placing the hands to the mat. Tuck the toes under on the back leg, step forward. Coming into forward fold. The Uttanasana, let's just hold here for a breath. Relaxing into it. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale as you come back up to standing, hands to prayer. Let's just take a deep breath here. And now we'll repeat on the left-hand side. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Step back with the left this time. Coming into a low lunge. Then slowly straightening that front leg. Feeling that extension in the hamstring. And again, if you need to come up onto the fingertips to maintain that elongated spine, that's perfect. Feel that beautiful hamstring stretch. And then bending your front leg, drop the back knee down and gently shift back for half splits, allowing the front foot to be flexed, easing into it, feeling it in the hamstrings. All the time you're aligning your hips, so trying to draw the back hip forward and the front hip back. And then try and maintain that extension in the spine. Come up onto the fingertips and gently gaze ahead. And now we can slowly ease back into our crescent lunge, so bending the front leg, sinking into those hips, finding your position. And once you're ready, inhale, raising the arms up for upward prayer, gently gazing ahead. Remembering that crescent lunge is a preparation for our back bends. So you can really allow the top half of your body to be completely mobile, and try and edge the shoulders back slightly, drawing those shoulder blades in, opening up your heart center. Exhale, hands to mat. Tuck the toes under on your back foot, step back into downward facing dog. Hold your dog. Breathe through it. Now inhale to roll forward for plank, maintaining that straight back. Exhale as we chaturanga down, dropping down to the mat. And inhale for upward facing dog. Hold your dog, gently gazing ahead, activating those quads, zipping up the knees, squeezing those glutes. Tuck your toes under and shift back into downward facing dog. This time sweeping the left leg up for three-legged dog, pointing that toe, feeling that extension, opening up the hips and the adductors. Exhale, bending that knee, planting that foot between the hands. Drop the back knee, untuck the toes. Sweep up those arms into upward prayer for crescent lunge. Gently gazing ahead, sinking into those hips, creating a beautiful crescent moon shape with the body. Exhale, hands to mat. Tuck the toes under on your back foot, step forward, dropping down into Uttanasana, forward fold. Completely relax here, enjoying this restorative pose. Now let's inhale for halfway lift, nice flat back. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale as you come up to standing in Tadasana, mountain pose. Now from here we're going to move into chair pose and then come to sitting on our mats for our seated sequence. So in chair, I like my feet to be hip distance apart. The outsides of the feet are parallel. Inhale, raising the arms up so that the arms are parallel, palms facing each other. And exhale as you sit down into your chair pose. So in your chair, you want to be able to see the toes peeping out from beneath the knees. So try and be mindful of drawing that tailbone back. And let's hold our chair. And now very slowly we're going to ease down to come to seated on our mats. Okay, let's begin on our knees. So the first position is Thunderbolt pose or Vajrasana. So it's just a very simple kneeling position. Sitting on your heels, the toes are touching, the feet are touching, the legs are touching. It's a very comfortable seat, a very comfortable kneeling posture. Now we're going to work with a toe stretch, which is very good for detoxifying the body. So just ease your way forward and then tuck those toes under. Then ease your way back into Thunderbolt position. You'll feel it in the toes. It can be quite painful, but a very good detoxifying posture. So let's inhale and reach the arms out. We're going to work with some eagle arms while we're sitting in this pose. So bring the right hand forward at a 90-degree angle, bending that elbow. Sweep the left arm around and underneath, and then bring the palms to touch. And just gently gaze ahead, holding your eagle arms. And you can gently try and encourage those elbows to lift up slowly. And then you can tuck the chin down, so using your chin lock. And just gently hold and breathe. And now let's release and repeat on the left-hand side. So sweeping that left arm in, 90 degrees, sweeping the right arm underneath, palms to touch, gently lifting up the elbows and dropping the chin. And now let's release those arms, placing them on the mat. Shake out those toes. And we're going to move back into our Vajrasana, our Thunderbolt. The next asana is hero pose or virasana. So it's not advisable if you've had any knee injuries. So if you have had any knee injuries or have any knee discomfort, then rather just stay in our thunderbolt pose. Alternatively, you can use a block for hero pose. I'd recommend a block initially. So just open up the legs slightly wider than hip distance apart and come to sitting on your block. And then you're going to shift the calf muscles out so that the feet are on either side of your hips. And then bring the thighs to touch and just gently gaze ahead. Elongating that spine and holding your virasana, your hero pose. If you'd like an extra extension, you can remove the block and slowly ease your way down, coming to sit on those glutes, feeling it in the quads. It's a really good quad stretch. And in this pose, you need to be mindful of maintaining parallel thighs. So the thighs are together and the calves on the outsides of the thighs and the feet are on the outsides of the hips. And let's just gently gaze ahead. And now we'll walk our hands forward, coming into tabletop position. You can remove your block. So we're coming into our tabletop. We're going to work with cow face pose or gomukhasana now. So we're going to start on the right hand side. So extend that right leg behind you, coming onto the ball of the foot. And then float that leg up so that it's parallel to the mat. You can point your toe. Inhale, and as you exhale, you're going to bring the knee to your chest and then wrap it around your left leg. So you're coming to sit with the knees stacked. I'll just demonstrate from the front so that you can see the position. So you want your knees to be stacked on top of each other and the feet are on either side of your hips. So trying to maintain a perfect line from your left foot through your hips and your glutes to your right foot, and trying to maintain a perfect line with the two knees stacked on top of each other to create a cow's face. Okay, so I'm going to move back to where I was so we can continue with our sequence. So find yourself in your cow face pose. Again, this is where a block can become very useful. So if you want to sit on a block, it will just give you a little bit of room to stack those knees perfectly and get your alignment correct. So I would recommend a block, especially for beginners. And now let's inhale and extend those arms out to either side. Your right knee is stacked on top of your left. So we're going to rotate the right arm down so that the right thumb is facing the earth. Sweep that right arm behind you, bringing the hand between the shoulder blades. And then inhale, reaching the left arm up and over. So we're going to interlace the fingers behind the back. Again, if you can't reach your fingers, then just use a strap. Work with whatever is comfortable for you. And once you've found your position, you can gently gaze ahead, keeping that elongation in the spine, feeling that rotation and that stretch in the shoulders. And now let's release our arms, coming back into our tabletop position, sweeping that leg back, extending it behind us and dropping the knee down. And now we'll repeat on the left hand side. So extending that left leg back behind you, coming onto the ball of the foot. Now float that leg up and point your toes. Inhale to extend. And exhale as you sweep the knee in towards your chest, wrapping it around your right leg. So coming to sit in your cow face pose, remembering to use your block if that assists with the alignment. So the most important thing is to try and get the knees completely stacked and aligned. And try and distribute your weight evenly across both glutes. So feeling completely balanced and aligned in this pose. Inhale and sweep those arms up. Now your left knee is on top of your right. So we're going to rotate that left shoulder so that the thumb's facing down. Drawing the left arm, sweeping it between the shoulder blades. And then inhale as you raise the right arm up. interlacing the fingers behind your back. Again, being mindful of drawing up that torso, so really elongating the torso, elongating the spine, lifting up the chest. And you want to try and keep the arms as straight as possible. So you're trying to be mindful of lifting up the elbow on your right arm and dropping down the elbow on the left, so that the arms are in a perfect line as well. And you're gently gazing ahead. And hold your pose. Don't forget to breathe. And now let's release. We can shake it out, placing the hands on the mat, sweeping that left leg up and over, extending it behind us, and dropping down into tabletop position. And let's just sit back into extended child's pose. So stretching those arms out in front of you and gently dropping down. Let's slowly walk our way back to a seated position. We're going to come into easy pose, Sukhasana. So easy pose is a very simple cross-legged pose. So your legs are crossed at the ankles, and this is where a block becomes very useful. When we're working with our seated asanas, the block really assists us with our alignment. So come to sitting on your block, and you'll see it assists in making sure that the knees are dropped down beneath the hips. So just sit in your easy pose, find a comfortable position. Let's inhale and reach our arms up. And as we exhale, we're going to slowly fold forward. So just walking that torso down and gently dropping down, feeling that extension in the spine, keeping those tailbones planted, and just fully relax. Now let's slowly walk our way back up to a seated position. Now for balance, we're going to change the cross of the legs. So again, easy pose, the legs are crossed at the ankles. So just sit in a very comfortable position. Inhale and extend those arms up. And exhale as you drop forward, coming into a gentle, easy forward fold. Feeling it in the glutes, drawing that tailbone down. Now let's slowly walk our way back to a seated position. Now we're going to work with swastikasana, which is a slight variation of our easy pose. Essentially now you're crossing the legs almost in the midway section of the calves. So your legs create a slightly narrower seat and the thighs are almost parallel in this pose. Now in our swastikasana, we're going to work with some twists. So inhale and extend those arms up. And then as you exhale, dropping one hand onto knee, placing the other hand behind your back, and gently twisting to the back, gazing over the back shoulder. In your twists, it's important to keep that spine elongated and lift up through the chest. So really work on the elongation and be mindful of that. Now let's release, coming back through center, and we'll twist to the other side. Breathing through it. With each breath, just try and edge your way around a little bit into a slightly deeper twist. Twists are so good, they're detoxifying. They're really good for the intestines and the digestive system. Let's inhale to raise our arms up and exhale to release. Now let's change the cross of our legs for balance. So coming back into swastikasana on the other side. Find your position, sit comfortably on your block. Inhale and reach those arms up. And exhale as you come down into twist, placing the hand onto the knee. Twisting to the back and gently gazing across the back shoulder. inhale through center and exhale as we twist to the other side. Inhale to center and let's release. Now we're going to work with our half lotus. So placing one leg down on the mat, you're going to lift up the other leg and bring the foot to settle at the top of the thigh. So if this isn't comfortable for you, then just stay in easy pose, Sukhasana. Otherwise, try the half lotus position. If your knees are able to tolerate it, it can become a very comfortable pose. And a nice pose to allow those knees to drop down below the hips. Let's inhale and extend the arms up. And as we exhale, we're going to ease across into a gentle side stretch. Inhale to come back through center and exhale across to the other side. Inhale through center and exhale for a side stretch. Inhale through center and exhale down. Now let's come back to center and we'll change the fold of our legs. So placing the other leg down on the mat and lifting your foot up, allowing it to gently come to rest on top of the thigh. Once you've found your position, let's inhale, reaching those arms up, and we'll work through some more side stretches. So exhale as you come across to your right hand side and hold. Inhale to center and exhale across to your left. Inhale through center, exhale to your right, and last one. And exhale. And now let's come back through center, dropping the hands down. Now if you want to try an extra little challenge, we can work into lotus pose. So in the full lotus, keeping your foot planted at the top of your thigh, you will draw the other leg up and over and place the other foot on top of the other thigh. So see how that feels. If it's not comfortable for you, then just stay in your half lotus. And we'll just gently bring our hands to prayer position, to Namaskar. And just take a few deep breaths here, holding that lotus position, breathing into it, breathing into any tight spaces. And now let's slowly release. So unraveling the legs, and we're going to swap the feet. So just change direction, repeating that movement, bringing the one leg up, one foot on top, and the other foot on the other side, allowing your knees to drop down, sitting on your block for support. And again, let's inhale and raise those arms up, bringing them into upward prayer position, and then we'll slowly drop down to heart center. And just sit and breathe, easing into it, using your breath to go to all those tight spaces. One more deep inhalation and exhalation. And now let's slowly unravel. So we're going to come into Dandasana, which is the foundation pose for all the seated asanas, and we'll carry on using our block. So stay seated on your block. You can move the block towards the edge of your mat just to create space. And then come to sitting on the front edge of your block and shift those glutes back behind you. So creating space in your pelvis to allow you to fold forward. Once you've found your position, elevate the body. So elevate the torso, broaden through the shoulders, draw those shoulder blades back, placing the hands on either side of the hips. your feet are flexed, your knees are activated, and your quads are activated. Dandasana staff pose. So gently gazing ahead, a very active pose. Activate your core and just gently gaze ahead. And now from here we're going to move into Marichyasana, which is our sage's pose. So drawing your left leg up, planting the sole of the foot right into the groin area, so as close to the groin as possible. We're going to inhale and extend those arms up and gently fold forward. Now here, it can be very useful to use your strap. So if you've got a strap, take hold of that strap. You can fold it in half. Take hold of either end with your two hands. And then gently ease forward, wrapping the strap around the ball of your foot, encouraging your spine to extend in this pose. So almost trying to open up the chest, draw those shoulder blades back. In all our forward folds, we need to start by elongating the spine and creating that impression of length in our spines. And once we've done that, then we can slowly ease our way forward into a deeper forward fold. So let's just start here today, using our straps for support, easing into it. Breathing and holding that pose. And now you can slowly release. We're going to take a bind in our Marichyasana. So gently come across to your right hand side, just to gain a little bit of momentum. And then wrap your left arm around that left knee. Interlace the fingers behind your back. And again, you can either drop down into a forward fold in your Marichyasana, or you can lift that torso up, moving into a gentle twist. So elongating the torso and trying to draw that back shoulder back. Lifting up, and if you're in the twisted variation, you can gently gaze across to the side. Being mindful of really trying to gain length in the spine, lifting up that body. And your foot is flexed on your extended leg, your knees are activated, your quads are activated. And now let's gently release. We're going to drop that knee down onto the mat for Janu Shishasana. So again, just shift your glutes back, find your position on your block. Take hold of the strap. Let's work with our straps today, really focusing on that elongation of the spine. So once you're in your position, let's inhale. You can raise the arms up, holding onto that strap. And then exhale as you fold forward, placing the strap around the ball of the foot. And then encouraging that spine just to completely elongate as you edge your way forward. So you can raise the elbows up, edging your way forward inch by inch, breathing through it, focusing on that elongation in the spine. Just gently gazing ahead, feeling that extension. Slowly dropping down little bit by little bit with every breath. And now let's slowly release. Extending that leg out in front of you. Let's shake it out a little bit in our Dandasana staff pose. And now we can repeat on the right hand side. So bending your right leg, placing the sole of the foot towards the groin. We're going to work into our Marichyasana. So taking hold of your strap. Inhale as you broaden through the chest, lifting up from the hips and extending that body forward, wrapping the strap around the ball of your foot as you gently ease your way forward. And again, bend those elbows. You can lift up the elbows to encourage even more elongation in the spine. Dropping down, really extending into this forward fold. And just hold and breathe, creating that impression of an elongated spine, creating that impression of an extension all the way from the base of the spine. So really trying to shift out of those hips. And now let's slowly come up and replace the strap onto your mat as we move into a bind. So again, let's gain a bit of momentum, easing forward onto the side, and then taking that right arm and wrapping it around your right knee and interlacing the fingers behind you. You can either work here in a forward fold variation of Marichyasana, or if you'd like to try a gentle twist, lift up that torso, rotating the shoulder back, gently gazing across to the side, and really trying to elongate your spine here, lifting up the torso, feeling that extension. Just gently gazing ahead and breathing through it. Remembering to keep the foot flexed on your extended leg, remembering to keep that quad and that knee active. And now let's release our band, dropping that knee down for Janu Shishasana. Again, just shift your glutes back, find your position on your block. Take hold of your strap. Inhale and reach up with the arms, and as you exhale, we're going to drop forward, placing the strap around the ball of the foot, gently encouraging that spine to drop down. So in these poses, you really want to bring your belly onto your thigh rather than bringing your head down onto your leg, because when we work with just trying to drop that head down, we find ourselves rounding our backs. So you almost want to encourage that body just to extend almost from the belly downwards, and that will give you that extension in the spine. Just remembering to breathe through it. You can lift up those elbows, bend those elbows, just work with whatever's comfortable for you. No pressure, just work with your own body, surrendering into it and breathing through it. And now let's slowly release. We'll return the strap to the mat. You can extend those legs out in front of you. Let's come off our blocks and we'll just work with a normal Dandasana, sitting on our mats, and shift those glutes again behind you, finding your comfortable position. Flexing those feet, activating the kneecaps, activating the quads, zipping up that core, drawing those shoulder blades in, opening up and broadening through the chest, resting the hands on either side of your body as you gently gaze ahead and breathe. And now let's just completely relax and shake it out. We're going to work into Upavista Konasana now, which is our wide angle seated position. So just opening up those legs, again coming to wherever it's comfortable for you. So find a comfortable position with your legs open out to the sides. Your feet are flexed and there's a gentle inward rotation of your legs. So shift your glutes back again. Find a comfortable position. Again, if you'd like to sit on your block, that will give you an even better forward extension. So work with your block, use your block. The props are very good to encourage our body to find the correct alignment. And now once you've found your comfortable position, we're just going to work with a little bit of dynamic breathing before we move into our forward fold. So let's start by just exhaling and dropping down to one side, and then inhaling as you come through center, and exhale as you drop down. Inhale through center and exhale. Just keep working in your own time, finding your own rhythm, synchronizing your breath with each movement, easing into it, allowing your back to just loosen up beautifully, so that when we work with our forward folds, there's no pressure or tension, and most importantly, there are no injuries. And now let's come back to our central position, and we're going to slowly start to walk our way forward. So again, just work with your own body. If you want to rest on your palms with the arms straight ahead of you and elongate your spine, just stay here and gently gaze ahead, breathing through it. Alternatively, you can drop down onto the elbows. Again, easing through it, being mindful of that beautiful extension in the spine. And if you want an extra little challenge, you can drop down a little bit further and bring the head down to rest on the arms, being mindful of keeping that extension in the spine. So trying to flatten your back in this pose. And just breathe and hold. You can close your eyes and just go within. Use this as a form of meditation, gently easing into the fascia, allowing our bodies to surrender with each breath, breathing into any tight spaces. So just work with your body and your breath. The prana and the asanas are all interconnected. Breathing into our poses. And now we're going to slowly walk our way back up to a seated position. Placing the soles of the feet together, we're coming into Baddha Konasana. So just shift the calf muscles, move those calf muscles out to allow your knees to bend a little bit further. So shifting the flesh of your muscles to the outside, drawing the soles of the feet together. In your Baddha Konasana, you want to try and bring the soles of the feet as close to the groin as possible. And then take hold of the toes with the hands. So in our Baddha Konasana, we normally use the index finger and the thumb just to wrap around the big toe. But because I'm so tall and I've got such long arms, I prefer to wrap my hands under my toes. And then you can lift up and broaden through the chest, drawing those shoulder blades in behind you so that you really have got a beautiful open heart center. And then slowly drop those knees down towards the mat. So you should feel a stretch in the torso and then a counter stretch in the legs. So you're trying to bring those knees down, drawing them down towards the mat, opening up those hips. And at the same time, you've got a beautiful broad chest, completely elongated spine, and you're gently gazing ahead. So just find your position and breathe through it. This is a wonderful hip opener. Keep breathing through it, being mindful of just drawing those knees down a little bit closer to the mat with every breath. And now let's release. We'll flap our butterfly wings. Baddha Konasana is bound angle pose, but also known as our butterfly pose. And now let's completely relax those legs, placing the feet slightly in front of you, almost creating a wider diamond shape with the legs. We're just going to slowly drop down into a very gentle forward fold, so there's no pressure here. Just work with your body and come to settle in a comfortable forward fold. So feeling it in the glutes, feeling it in the hips, gently encouraging that body to lower down and drop down. And again, if you'd like to bring your hands into two little fists, you can place one fist on top of the other and just gently allow the forehead to rest on your fists. And now we can slowly start to lift our bodies up. We're going to ease into Malasana or garland pose. If you'd like to use a block here, a block can be quite useful for the legs, for the feet. So in our garland pose, let's just warm up a little bit. So just easing into it, opening up those hips, moving from side to side. And now when you're ready, you can place the heels onto your block for support. And then just gently come into Malasana. Place the hands into prayer position, or you can leave the palms of the hands in front of you for support. So just work with whatever is comfortable for you. And then if you're able to drop the heels down completely, you can remove the block and just come into a comfortable yogi squat, dropping the heels down onto the mat. And again, just using those elbows to open up the knees, encouraging a slightly wider opening of the hips. And just hold your yogi squat and breathe. Otherwise, stay on your block, work with whatever's comfortable for you. The block is great for getting our initial alignment correct. So you really want to use the squat to open up those hips, and you're dropping the tailbone down, and at the same time you're elongating the spine. So try and be mindful of having a beautiful long straight spine. Your tailbone is heading towards the earth, your knees are opening up, and you're using those elbows to wedge against those knees to gently encourage them to open up a little bit further. And just breathe through it. And now let's slowly just start to lift up that tailbone and heel toe the feet out to the side. We're coming into Prasarita Padottanasana, which is our wide-legged forward fold. So the outsides of the feet are parallel and the toes are slightly in, which gives you a beautiful inward rotation of the legs, which is what you need for these forward extensions, because it just creates that space in the sacral band and the pelvis to allow us to fold forward. And again, we want to be mindful of that extension in the spine. So come onto your fingertips and really extend that spine. You're pressing into the outsides of the feet for balance. Your quads are activated and your knees are activated. All our muscles work in pairs. So when you activate the quads and the knees, it supports the hamstrings. So just remember to always activate those quads to avoid any hamstring injury. And now we're going to slowly drop down, so bending those elbows and gently allowing the head just to rest, coming into a forward fold. Slowly walk your way back, so coming back onto the fingertips. We're going to heel toe those feet in slightly, and now we want the feet to be facing outwards. So the feet are at a 45-degree angle with the toes facing outwards. So we're slowly going to work into some side lunges, so working into Skandasana. So just ease across to one side, allowing the foot on the extended leg to lift up and be flexed, and then ease across to the other side, moving into your Skandasana. Ease across again, and this time we'll come to a stationary position, and you can gently raise your hands, coming to rest in prayer position. Otherwise, you can use your hands as support, palms facing down, to support you in your Skandasana side lunge. Trying to lift up that back, extending the back, drawing the shoulder blades in. And now let's slowly turn to the short edge of the mat. Heel toe that foot to the outer corner as you find yourself in your runner's lunge. So let's lift up our chest, broadening through the chests, gently gazing ahead. Coming onto the ball of the back foot, so really pressing into the back foot. Again, lifting up that knee and the quad. Beautiful extended runner's lunge. Hold your position, breathing into it. And now we're going to drop our knee and untuck the toes. And you can just try and edge that leg back just a little bit further to widen up as you ease into your runner's lunge. Now allowing your front foot to drop over to the baby toe side. So just allow that foot to gently roll over, and that will give you a deeper extension in the hips and in the adductors, and then gently encourage that leg to open up a little bit further. So pressing into the knee with the palm of your hand, just opening up a little bit deeper, and just hold. And you can even throw your head back slightly, almost work into a little bit of a back bend here. So feeling that extension in the spine, feeling that release in the hips. And now we're going to drop down, so coming down onto your elbows and just breathing through it. can close your eyes, connect to your breath, easing into your lizard pose. You can rest on your forearms here. Otherwise, if you want to bring your hands into two fists again, and drop your forehead down, just work with whatever's comfortable for you. It's a nice, relaxing, restorative yin pose, but also very active, working with those hips. And now we'll slowly come back up, tucking the toes under behind you. Let's ease that leg down onto the mat for pigeon pose. So dropping the shin down, sinking back into our hips. Finding a comfortable position, aligning those hips. So work with your hips, work with your body. Find that seat, trying to maintain an even balance between left and right, fully aligned. And once you found your position, we're going to slowly walk our way down into pigeon pose. So again, you can just close your eyes and completely relax here in our half pigeon. Beautiful restorative yin pose. Breathing through it. Calm, soothing energy. Now we'll slowly lift our way back up. Tucking the toes under on the back leg, easing that foot forward as we come back into a lunge, and then shifting to face the long edge of your mat as we find our way back in Skandasana. And now we're going to walk across to the other side. So deepening that lunge, coming into your side lunge, your Skandasana, flexing the foot of the elongated leg, placing the hands to heart center and lifting up the torso. So trying to elongate that spine, broadening through the chest, feeling the extension in the hamstring, activating your quads and lifting up your knee on your extended leg. And just breathing through it. And now let's slowly turn to the short edge of our mat. Heel toe that foot out to the far corner of your mat as you find yourself in your runner's lunge. Again, lifting up the chest, gently gazing ahead. Holding your runner's lunge, feeling it in the hips. Activating the quads and the knees on your extended leg and lifting up. And now we're going to drop that knee down and untuck the toes. Taking your hand and pressing the palm into the knee just to open up and allowing that front foot just to roll over onto the baby toe side. So just gentle, gentle extension here. And again, if you'd like to, just flop back, opening up, coming into a back bend, dropping that head back, feeling completely free in this pose. Now let's slowly ease our way down into our lizard, so coming to rest on our forearms. And you can just gently gaze ahead. Otherwise, if you want to make fists with your hands and rest your forehead, work with whatever's comfortable for you as you breathe through it. Deep, restorative yin pose. Breathing through it. Now we're going to slowly walk our way back up. So tucking the toes under on your back foot. Heel toe the front leg, bringing the shin down so that you can drop down into your half pigeon. And then find your position in your pigeon pose. So settling into it, take your time. Align those hips. Find a comfortable position. When we start with our pigeon pose, you can keep the heel as close to the groin as possible, and that's a more comfortable seat. And then as your hips open up and get used to the position, you can slowly ease that shin up towards the top edge of your mat so that eventually the shin is almost parallel to the short edge of your mat. So just work with whatever level is comfortable for you. And let's slowly ease our way down as we come to rest our forehead onto our hands. So again, just breathing through it. You can close your eyes, completely relax and enjoy this pose. And now we're slowly going to lift up and back into a seated position, tucking the toes under on the back foot. Heel toe that front foot so that you're coming into a lunge. And then shift to face the long edge of your mat as we find ourselves in Skandasana. And we're going to slowly just ease across from side to side. And then come back into Prasarita Padottanasana, your wide-legged forward fold. Resting on those fingertips, gently gazing ahead, finding that elongation in the spine. And now let's heel toe as we come back into a seated position, coming to sit in the center of our mats. So just come to the center of your mats and slowly drop down vertebra by vertebra. Come to rest in a supine position. Sweeping the arms between the feet, we're going to work into a full happy baby pose. And then if you want an extra extension, we're going to start to straighten the legs. So just work with whatever's comfortable for you. You can stay in a happy baby, or if you want that extra extension, you can straighten the legs. And all the time, just being mindful of drawing that coccyx down and keeping the spine completely level and supported by your mat. Extend into it, breathe into it, feeling that release. And now let's draw the legs back together. And you can raise both feet up to the ceiling, so just coming into a 90-degree position. So the legs are nice and straight, and just hold and breathe. Take one more deep breath here. Now slowly lowering the left leg to the mat, keeping that right leg lifted. Let's draw the thigh towards our chests. Gently encouraging those hamstrings to release a little bit more. And now we're going to take hold of the foot and just open up to the right hand side. Being mindful of keeping that hip firmly planted. So use your left hand just to encourage the left hip and the left glute to stay on the mat. And then you can return that right leg up to center, raising the left leg up, coming back into your 90-degree position, and then dropping the right leg down, and gently encouraging the left leg to edge closer towards the chest as you loosen up those hamstrings. Now taking hold of the left foot, let's open up to the side, remembering to keep the right hip down, encouraging that hip to stay firmly planted. And now we can release, returning that foot to center, raising your right leg one last time. And let's lift up so that we can place the hands just beneath the sacrum. We're going to work gently with an abdominal exercise as we lower our legs down, very slowly working those abs, dropping the legs down to 30 degrees and then lifting them back up to 90 degrees. Dropping them down and lifting them up. This time you can release those hands, drop the legs down very slowly, and eventually find yourself in Shavasana, our final relaxation. So open up the legs, allowing the feet to flop out to the side. The legs are mat distance apart. Your palms are facing up, the arms are on either side of your body. You're resting on the knuckles. Just remove any trapped flesh from your body. You can draw the shoulder blades in slightly to open up and broaden through the chest, opening up your heart center. You can move the head from side to side, releasing any tension in the neck. Just release any trapped flesh and find a completely comfortable, relaxing position. Closing your eyes, relaxing your jaw, and just gently coming back to your breath. Trying to deepen each breath. Drawing the air right down to the base of the lungs. Completely relaxing. And using this time just to be completely focused in the present moment. To release any tension from the body, to release any anxiety from the mind. Now let's slowly drift back to our mats. You can start to rub the fingers and thumbs together, rotating the wrists and the ankles, bringing the legs together. Inhale and reach up those arms for a final full body stretch. And exhale as you relax those arms down by your sides, drawing the knees into the chest, hugging those knees and rocking from side to side to release the back. Gentle massage. And now let's slowly roll over onto one side, coming into a fetal position. Taking another deep breath here. And then when you're ready, let's lift up. Coming into easy pose, Sukhasana. Finding your position. Let's gently inhale and raise those arms up, bringing the hands to touch in upward prayer, and then gently drawing them down to our chests in Namaskar prayer position. Let's bow our heads in gratitude for this time that we've shared together on our mats. Thank you so much. Namaste. A beautiful day. Take care.